right, so we're back on the JBL CS315 speakers, and what I want to do is try to fine tune the sound. If at all possible, I would like to utilize these enormous heavy-duty woofers that I have. If you watch the other videos, you know that I had actually, started by transforming the cabinet internally, adding crossover, etc., running stock speakers. Got it to sound pretty decent. Then I went ahead and swapped out all the drivers to new drivers. And then I actually made a switch back to the original Jensen woofers. And the reason I did that at the time was because, honestly, I thought they sounded a little bit better than these woofers did. And they actually measured a little bit better as well. So I felt that these were lacking in the mid-bass portion of the frequency band. I ran some really rough frequency tests, very, very rudimentary, using just free software, Chromebook, the built-in mic on the notebook, just so I can kind of try to gauge what these speakers are doing. Today, what I'm going to actually do is I've got a bunch of parts from Parts Express so that I can mess around with Zobel Networks, which is basically an impedance. It corrects the impedance on the speaker so that the reactive impedance should level out technically. So anyway, I'm going to try that because I would like to get this woofer back in there. I think that it has, I don't know if it's got so much to do with cabinet size and this woofer causing me a problem, or if it's just the characteristics of the woofer. So anyway, I'm going to try to correct that. Yeah, so to get started though, I'm going to go ahead and run a frequency check on this speaker so that I can kind of gauge where we're at. And even though it's not the best way to measure a speaker, I did get a better microphone. This one is rated for 30 hertz to 20,000 hertz. It's not an omnidirectional mic, which is typically used for speaker measurement. It's a unidirectional mic, but I think it will at least be able to allow me to compare what the Chromebook is picking up in terms of frequency versus what this will pick up for frequency. I will have it close. I'm going to have, this is situated 2 feet away from the speaker, about, centered with it. So I'm going to use this mic in addition to that, compare the two, see how it all turns out, and then try to start making some adjustments. So that's what I'm doing right now. So while I get set up, I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera and get back on in a bit. Again, this is being recorded with a Google Pixel 7, so any of the video capture, the audio quality, everything like that, just straight up Google Pixel 7, nothing fancy there. So if you are listening to this, watching it, listening to it, I would recommend doing it over a nice home theater system, or a pair of headphones would be ideal. So that's it. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So if you watched some of the previous videos where I was trying to do some frequency testing, again, this is not ultra scientific by any means, so take it for what it's worth. It's just so that I can combine what I'm hearing with what I'm seeing and try to come up with some solutions to provide me with the best possible sound quality from these vintage speakers. So with that being said, I've been using Dr. Mix's Test Your Speakers frequency test. It's on YouTube. Dr. Mix, I appreciate you putting up there. It's nice and short and clean. I don't know how accurate it is, but anyway, it's allowed me to at least compare different speakers and run tests over and over fairly easily. So I'm going to run this one through the stock microphone on this HP Chromebook, and then I'm going to run another one on the microphone that I just showed you that I picked up. So let's run this now. This is at negative 15 dB, and I have reset my max hold. So let's go ahead and run this.
Hi, and welcome to Dr. Mix. This is a signal test for you. Enjoy.
You know what? Let me start this over again. I'm sorry. Sick, cold medicine. You can probably hear my voice. Kind of skipped a step here. I do need to disconnect this right speaker so we're not listening to both of them. I just want to measure the one, and I had forgotten to actually fire up this and get it started. So I'm going to reset that max hold. I did do some research on microphones too, so I can't tell you for sure how accurate the mic is on this HP Chromebook. I don't even know if it can span the whole frequency range. You know, take it for what it's worth. So anyway, let me pause this quick minute. All right, let's try this again.
Hi, and welcome to Dr. Mix. This is a signal test for you. Enjoy. If you want to know more about our mixing and mastering services, please visit us on drmix.com. See you later.
Okay. So this is 20 hertz right here. And I think I can actually, yeah, we can get these lines to show up in here. So at 35, we're down by minus 55, and then it crept up at 67 hertz. And if you watched any of my other videos, this is measuring a little bit different than it did before, which is kind of odd. I'm going to go ahead and try to rerun this. In terms of the rest of it, fairly the same. Mid-range is, it's okay. It's transitioned to the woofer. Doesn't seem too awful bad because that happens around 800 hertz. And then the transition to the tweeter happens about 4,500. You will see it jumping up here. The tweeter is a little bit more sensitive than the rest of than the other two speakers, just a little bit. That's another thing I'm going to try to compensate for as well. So anyway, the frequency response from the tweeter, given the fact that it's running through this microphone, probably not so bad. Anyway, let me try to rerun this bottom end and see what happens. I'm going to try to clear this out.
Hi, and welcome to Dr. Mix. This is a signal test for you. Enjoy. If you want to know more about our mixing and mastering services, please visit us on drmix.com. See you later.
All right, so I don't know how to do a screenshot out of here, so I'm just gonna take an actual photo of it just so I can see where I'm at. But it definitely looks like we've got this mid bass right now coming from this speaker. What this is picking up, right at 67, and it drops off, 20 dB by the time it hits 40. So that's a little bit different than it was measuring before. So I'm kind of curious to see what this other microphone will do. And honestly, I didn't make any changes to this. We're 2 feet away now instead of like 3. The speaker's tilted back just a tad. This is the way I've been listening to them, so I'm not sure exactly what's up with that, but it's picking up a lot of room response too. So that's one thing that other mic should help correct. So let me plug that mic in and let's see how it does. Hello, testing, testing. Okay, so it's definitely working. Reset that guy. We need something to set this on. We still want to keep our distance, so let me do this. Check my camera angle here, and I think that I should be able to get this guy on another speaker right in front of it. So it might be a little bit closer. I'm going to try to tuck this back behind this screen as much as I can. Point it about centered with the speaker. Something like so. We're at the same volume level, so let's go ahead and start this up.
Hi, and welcome to Dr. Mix. This is a signal test for you. Enjoy. If you want to know more about our mixing and mastering services, please visit us on drmix.com. See you later.
So this is pretty interesting. It's definitely not picking up the same as the other mic did. It does seem to be a little bit smoother. Follows the same pattern on the bottom end, except not quite as radical in its changes. At a crossover point of 800, it's still meeting up good there. It does tend to show a little bit more deviation across the mid-range, and then it seems like its rise up to the tweeter, which happens at 4,000. It looks like the mid-range is actually picking up some high end here between 1,000 hertz and 4,000 hertz. Looks like the tweeter is starting to get louder in this frequency range. So that's one thing that a Zobel network can hopefully correct, is to provide a more consistent response as far as SPL goes. We'll see. I'll try it and see. As we get into the tweeter, you could see it kind of a little bit more spiky. Now, I'm not sure if that's because of where this mic is positioned and how the tweeter is, or just what, but that's what it's reading in approximately the same location as this computer was. It's the mic and the computer was. So if that is indeed the case, that needs some work for sure. So let me try to make a few tweaks. We'll run it again and see what happens. I want to get a picture of this for to remember it by. And I'll be back. All right, so I want to take a quick interruption here just to kind of show you something. So one thing I want to do is I want to remeasure this woofer, except with the new microphone. I'll probably run both the computer mic and the other mic, just to see what this one performs like compared to the other one, and also just to tell for sure what happens between the mid-range and that. Now, when I talk about the Zobel network, what that is, and I'm not going to give you the scientific breakdown here, so don't hold me to anything critical. But basically, it consists of using a resistor, okay, and a capacitor. And what we'll be doing is running it across the speaker so that we're getting the inductance, any of the reactive inductance from this coil should be flattened out. So that's the concept behind it. From what I understand, it's best to put it as near to the speaker as possible. If I can't get it near the speakers, I'll probably put it right on the board. There's plenty of room there. There's also the opportunity for attenuation, which I'll probably use a little bit bigger resistor for that, to try to tame this tweeter down just a little bit. So that's another concept. But I wanted to show you inside here what it looks like right now. I haven't changed any of the stuffing or anything else. I'm just going to try to change the woofer and see how that changes frequency response. Okay, so I've got the big woofer in here, and I've changed nothing else. So I'll just go ahead and set this back up. We'll run a sweep with this mic since it's already hooked up. And then we'll run a sweep with the Chromebook mic, maybe go back to that one just to make sure we see what this thing is doing. So let's check it out.